Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about elimination reactions. Already we have seen different types of elimination reactions. Basically, elimination reactions are classified as E1, E2, E1CB, EI, and some other types of elimination such as alpha elimination, beta elimination. Of course, E1, E2, E1CB are sort of beta elimination, gamma elimination, etc. So let us start our discussion with E1 elimination reactions. E1 eliminations reactions are always at competition with SN1 reactions. Similar to SN1 reactions, E1 elimination reactions are also occur in two steps. First step is redetermining step, that is slow ionization of reagent to form carbocation. Already we know that as carbocations can rearrange in E1 elimination reactions also there will be some rearranged products. So here due to formation of carbocation, rearrangement is possible to form more stable carbocation. So carbocation rearrangement is possible. Second step is attack of base to remove hydrogen to produce alkene. So it is a fast step. So write as fast attack of base on hydrogen, particularly maybe beta hydrogen. It depends. That means if there is any unsaturation at beta position, then it goes to gamma position or delta position and so on. So fast attack of base on beta hydrogen to produce alkene. Generally obtained alkene is more substituted alkene. So here let me call it as Sedgwick alkene. More substituted alkene are called as Sedgwick alkenes, less substituted alkenes are Hofmann alkenes. Right? Sedgwick product, Hofmann product. Now, for E1 reactions, already we have seen in case of E1 elimination reactions, it is a two-step mechanism. First step is formation of carbocation. As carbocation is formed, rearrangement is possible. It is redetermining step. Second step is attack of base at beta position to remove hydrogen, forming an alkene. Now, reagent for E1 elimination reactions are, so here reagents are strong bases. So reagent used here is strong base. So if you take aqueous KOH, aqueous KOH generally form SN1 product, right? So at low temperatures, if I take aqueous KOH at low temperatures, it leads to SN1 product. But at high temperatures, that means if you heat it, assume that temperature is greater than room temperature, maybe temperature greater than 25 degrees centigrade generally. So when we heat it, it leads to elimination product. At low temperature, it leads to SN1 product. At high temperature, it leads to elimination product. Instead of aqueous KOH, we can use alcoholic KOH. Alcoholic KOH produces elimination product. Aqueous KOH produces substitution product. but when it is heated, it shows elimination product. Alcoholic KOH produce elimination product. So as such, any strong base system, that means instead of nucleophilicity, basicity of the system must be high. Compared to its nucleophilicity, basicity must be high. So reagent with more basic character, that should be there, and of course good leaving group. Right, example. So here let me write that. So there must be a good leaving group, right, and a good base. Base is required to abstract acetic hydrogen. So but priority condition is there must be a good leaving group, because carbocation formation is the rate determining step. Now coming to the example, if you take CH3, CH2, CH3, CH3 and a halogen here, so which may be a good leaving group, maybe iodine. If I take CH3OH as a solvent, if I use this solvent, then you will get, instead of X, you will get methoxide, and you will get a recipe mixture, because that is SN1 reaction. But when you heat it, now it leads to elimination reaction. If I don't heat it, it leads to substitution reaction. When we heat it, it leads to elimination reaction. Now the product will be CH3, CH double bond C, CH3, CH3. This is the major product. In addition to that, you may get some minor product also, that is half-man product, that is CH3, CH2, C double bond CH2, CH3. So as such, you may get a minor product, which is nothing but a half-man product, right? So let me call it as a minor product as of now. Let us check the mechanism of it. If you see mechanism of it, so already we have seen that mechanism follows 2 steps. Now coming to step 1. We have taken tertiary alkyl halide, so CH3, CH2, CH3, CH3 and a good leaving group. So first step is slow step, ionization of it, slow ionization, forming a carbocation. So you will get a carbocation here, CH3, CH2, C, CH3, CH3 plus. So you got a tertiary carbocation, which is obviously more stable. So there no need of rearrangement here. If we have the same halogen at the secondary carbon, then there will be migration of either hydrogen to form more stable carbocation, maybe hydrogen or methyl group, whichever, based upon the migrating aptitude. That group system, that system will be migrated to form more stable carbocation. Now here this is the rate determining step. As this step is slow step, this is a rate determining step. Similar to SN1 reactions, here also rate of reaction is proportional to concentration of substrate alone. Similar to SN1 reactions, here also rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration of substrate alone. That is, either rate of reaction is proportional to ionization of substrate, or maybe stability of carbocation, let me write as R plus only, or we can write it is proportional to stability of X minus ion, because if X minus is more stable, reaction moves in forward direction. So rate of reaction is proportional to stability of X minus alone, or R plus only, or concentration of substrate only, or ionization of substrate only. So anything it should follow first order kinetics. So rate of reaction is proportional to something power 1, so it should follow first order kinetics. Right. Similar to SN1 reactions, they are also occur readily in presence of polar solvents. So here if you take in presence of protic solvents, polar protic solvents such as H2O, methanol, ethyl alcohol, etc. Right. So in presence of protic solvents, obtained products become more stable. That means either R plus or X minus, or we can say both R plus and X minus ions are solvated. So as they are getting solvated, they are becoming more stable. So as that is more stable, reaction always moves in forward direction, right? Therefore, rate of reaction increases. Rate of reaction increases in presence of polar solvents. That means as a dielectric constant of the solvent increases, rate of reaction increases, right? Or we can say rate of reaction is favorable, or we say simply more than expected, or simply increases due to presence of such solvent. So this is step 1. Coming to step 2. Step 2 is abstract of hydrogen by base. Here we are using methanol as solvent. So this solvent will abstract hydrogen, or you can take H2O as a solvent, right? So any polar solvent, you got cation here, CH3, CH2, C plus CH3, CH2H, right? So here there are two beta hydrogens. So this is the carbon which is called as alpha. Now this becomes beta, this is also beta. There are two beta hydrogens. So the solvent which act as base, so maybe CH3OH or maybe H2O, whatever it is, it tries to abstract. So if I consider H2O, or you may consider methanol, anything, it tries to abstract hydrogen. So it may go and abstract hydrogen from here, or it may go and abstract hydrogen from here. So in any direction. So this may be, let me call it as path A, this as path B. But anyhow, it is a fast reaction. Assume if it is following path A. So if it follows path A, right, it leads to formation of, the moment it goes here, this bond negative charge or that bond shifts here, forming a double bond here, or this bond may shift to form double bond here. So in path A, product formation will be CH3, CH, double bond, C, CH3, CH. This alkane is more stable. Reason? More number of hyperconjugative structures, right? So there are, this is sp2 carbon, right? This is alpha carbon to sp2, right? This is alpha carbon to sp2 carbon. So over this there are hydrogens. So these hydrogens involved in hyperconjugation. Totally 3, 3, 6 and 3. 9 hydrogens involved in hyperconjugation. Therefore it becomes more stable. So this is major product. Now if it follow path B, then also it will lead to formation of alkene. So you may get a double bond here at the terminal system, and of course this will be minor because less number of hyperconjugations. So here only 5 hydrogens involved in hyperconjugation, so it is minor product. So as such, abstract of hydrogen, acidic hydrogen by base, or we call it as a solvent which acting as a base. Now corresponding energy profile diagram, similar to SN1 reactions, here also there will be some intermediate formation. So if you see energy profile diagram, so let me take it as potential energy on y-axis and a reaction coordinate. Now the graph obtained will be, first reactant leads to formation of intermediate. This intermediate will lead to formation of product, either by path A or by path B. So here let me call this as a substrate reactant, and this is carbocation intermediate. So this is the energy of R plus carbocation intermediate. So these are the products. So one may be Sadyov product because more stable, therefore energy will be low, and the other is Hofmann product as such. No, here there is CH bond breaking, but not in rate determining step. So we can call it as a secondary isotopic effect. Primary isotopic effect means cleavage of CH bond in rate determining step. So here we can see secondary isotopic effect. You can observe secondary isotopic effect. The reason is no breaking of CH bond, in rate determining step, in RDS, rate determining step. So here you will observe secondary isotopic effect. That means, that is, if a hydrogen is replaced by its isotope, either deuterium or tritium at beta carbon, because this has to abstract hydrogen from beta position. So at beta carbon, there is no change in rate of reaction. There is no change in a rate of reaction because abstraction of hydrogen is not a rate determining step. Now, here also tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary than primary. So tertiary alkyl halides react more readily than secondary than primary, and so on. And here we need to understand few more points, important things. These even elimination reactions are more favorable with low concentrations of base, low concentrations as well as poor bases, low concentration and poor bases. Because if it is a very strong base, then it go and abstract acidic hydrogen first. So instead of forming carbocation, abstraction of hydrogen occur readily. So, but in a even mechanism means first carbocation should be formed, then base has to approach and remove acidic hydrogen after forming carbocation. So the base must be poor. So for example, like water or ammonia, or CH3OH, NaOH, but low concentrations, very low concentrations. Or you can take ethyl alcohol, or substituted amines such as triethylamine. It is very poor base, etc. So generally here neutral bases are more preferable. Neutral bases are more preferable. Instead of OH minus ions, we have to take neutral bases. Neutral bases are more favorable. Right. Now let me check another example, then we will stop even elimination reactions. If I consider a tertiary alkyl halide, and if I use ammonia as a solvent, slight heat, so now it prefer even elimination. So now you will have even elimination. Now this lead to product formation. So obtained product is this is the major point. So we call it as sedge of product is major. Now instead of ammonia, if I take bulky substituted base, bulky base, for example, if I take the same system and if I have taken triethylamine, now this amine prefers, because of crowding, this always prefer to abstract less hindered acidic hydrogen. So it go and attack on the system where substitution is less. So here also even mechanism, but it leads to Hofmann product because the base is more crowded, feels more repulsion. So here it leads to Hofmann product. This is the major. Hofmann product is the major product. Right. So this is how even elimination reactions occur. Now coming to E2. E2 elimination reactions, we also call them as bimolecular elimination reactions. Bimolecular elimination reactions because they follow second order kinetics. They are always in competition with SN2. So like SN2, they also occur in one step, or we call it as one concerted step. One concerted step mechanism, or they occur through transition state. The reactions occur through transition state only. There is no intermediate formation, similar to SN2. So they are always in competition with SN2 reaction. Now to do that, for SN2 reactions, what happen? Nucleophile must be having good nucleophilicity. So then the nucleophile go and attack and make the leaving group to leave from the opposite directions. Here also the base must be very strong because abstraction of hydrogen should occur first. Right? In E1 mechanism, formation of carbocation should occur first. But in case of E2 mechanism, abstraction of hydrogen should occur first. And therefore, these E2 reactions are favorable with a high concentration of base. With a high concentration and of course strong base, such as KOH, metal oxides, metal alkoxides, that means sodium methanoate, right? Alkoxides such as CH3ONA, CH3O minus, Na plus, as such metal alkoxides. In presence of methanol, CH3O minus, Na plus in presence of methanol. Similarly, NaNH2, because Na plus NH2 minus, very strong base, etc. Right. Now here rate of reaction is proportional to not only concentration of substrate but also base. In SN2 we write as nucleophile, but here we write as base because basic nature is more important than nucleophilicity. If nucleophilicity is high, SN2 is preferred. If a basic character is high, then E2 is preferred. Right. Now let me come with an example. So I am taking a substrate such as R, CH, H, some CH2, X. X is the leaving group. Now if I use very strong base, right? So strong base such as CH3O minus. So if I take strong base like as CH3CO minus. Now this base will abstract this hydrogen first. Then this bond will shift here, making the leaving group leave that site. Right. Now this lead to product formation. Here the product formation will be R, of course concerted mechanism. So CH, this bond is breaking partially, H, and here bond formation is occurring partially, and this leaving group is trying to leave partially. Here this H will get partial positive charge here, and this will be getting partial negative charge because here H plus is trying to leave when base is approaching, right? So when base is approaching, of course here the base is CH3O minus. So when this base is approaching, this is the intermediate state. Whereas in nucleophilic substitution, both incoming group and leaving group, both nucleophile and leaving group, both should get partial negative charge. But here hydrogen should get partial positive, beta hydrogen gets partial positive, and leaving group gets partial negative. Here also the condition, anti-periplanar condition, that means a trans-elimination condition, a diaxial conditions, whatever the conditions we have seen for substrate in SN2 reactions, so all those conditions are favored here. Now this lead to product formation, therefore you will get R, CH, double bond CH2, plus if you are taking CH3O minus Na plus, you will get NaX, and CH3O minus is abstracting hydrogen, so this lead to formation of CH3OH. That's how the products are formed. So reaction occurs in single step. Now here also rate of reaction depends upon stability of transition state. More stable the transition state, more readily the reaction occurs. So here rate of reaction is proportional to stability of transition state. Right. So here also the conditions like diaxial conditions, if it is cyclic systems, or we call them as anti-elimination, or we call it as trans-elimination. Right, such conditions are favored. Diaxial elimination or trans-elimination or anti-elimination. That means we need to remember this anti-periplanar condition must be followed. Anti-periplanar condition must be followed. Right. Let me give you an example. So if I consider cyclohexane, let me consider bromine is at axial position, and this is axial hydrogen. We call this as equatorial position. This is equatorial hydrogen. This is also equatorial hydrogen. Right. Now, when we use bases like CH3O Na, CH3O minus Na plus in presence of methanol. So as we are using strong base, then remember axial hydrogens are more reactive than equatorial hydrogens. Axial hydrogens are more reactive than equatorial hydrogen because base will approach and remove this axial hydrogen. Then this bond will be shifted here. This bond will be shifted here, making this bromine to leave this site. So this will lead to product formation. Thus obtained product is nothing but cyclohexene. Right. So if anti-periplanar condition is obeyed, then E2 elimination occur readily. If such hydrogens are not there, if there is no acidic hydrogen at all, then obviously SN2 is preferred. So directly base will attack on this carbon, making bromine to eliminate. Right. Now coming to another set of example. So let me take one more example. If I consider any bulky system, for example, I have taken bromine here. Now you have hydrogens here as well as here, beta hydrogens on both directions. If I take any crowding here, for example, if I take a bulky group here, so this bulky group yet is below the plane, means obviously hydrogen will be above the plane. If hydrogen is above the plane, bromine is also above the plane. So anti-periplanar condition fails at this position. Therefore, obviously hydrogen is abstracted from this carbon only. So there is no other alternative. So when this is allowed to react with CH3ONA in presence of CH3OH, because we are using strong base, of course heating is required. Now this will lead to product formation only in one direction. There is only one product is possible. So this is the major product. So we need to observe all such conditions, anti-periplanar conditions, whether the base is a bulky base or not, right? So all such conditions. Now here, as abstraction of hydrogen is involved in rate determining step, definitely we call it as primary isotopic effect. Whereas in even elimination reactions, abstraction of hydrogen is not rate determining step, but here abstraction of hydrogen is involved in rate determining step. So it is obeying primary isotopic effect is observed. Primary isotopic effect. That means if that hydrogen is replaced by deuterium, then rate of reaction will be changing. Right? For example, if I consider CH3, CH2, CH2Br. Now on beta carbon you have hydrogens. Instead of hydrogens, if I take deuteriums, CH3, CD2, CH2Br. Now here at beta positions there are deuteriums. Therefore, abstraction of, that means cleavage of CD bond is difficult compared to CH bond. So rate of reaction will be higher here in E2. In E2 elimination occurs more readily in first reactant compared to the second one. Right. Now if you go for solvents like polar protic solvents, here polar protic solvents, they always surround the strong base. So when they surround the strong base, the mobility of strong base to approach acidic hydrogen and to remove acidic hydrogen becomes difficult. So here we need to take polar solvents but not protic solvents. Here we have to go for polar aprotic solvents. So polar aprotic solvents increases rate of reaction. Polar aprotic solvents increases the rate of reaction, DMF, DMSO, etc. Right? Now, if there are many hydrogens which are at antiposition, then there is possibility for vigorous rate of reaction leading to different types of products, right? So number of antihydrogens if they increase, then obviously a rate also increases, right? Leading to different types of products. We need to check which is major, which is minor based upon for example, let me consider a example here. If I take bromine above the plane, hydrogens must be below the plane here. That means other substituents must be above the plane. So if I take CH3 above the plane, then definitely H is below the plane. So anti-periplanar condition is obeyed. So I am taking again CH3 here. Here also hydrogen below the plane. Now, another example. If I take same condition, bromine above the plane, but one methyl group below the plane. If I take this methyl group below the plane, hydrogen is above the plane, then anti-periplanar condition failed here. But the anti-periplanar condition is obeyed here. Therefore, only one hydrogen is anti to this bromine. Now, if we take another condition, here bromine, both methyl groups are below the plane. That means both hydrogens are same side of bromine. So anti-periplanar condition failed here. So in such cases, E2 elimination occurs readily in first one compared to second one than third one. This is regarding rate of E2 mechanism. That means E2 elimination reactions. Right. Now we can use bulky bases also. Right. For example, bases like diazo bicyclonone, diazo bicycloandecane, etc. are also useful. For example, bicyclodiaz, for example, let me check this. One, two, three, four, five, six. So here is one lone pair of electrons, here is another lone pair of electrons. This is nothing but totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So diazo bicyclonone. So this is diazo bicyclonone. Similarly, diazo bicycloandecane. So number of carbons, instead of 5 membered, increase another 2 carbons. So then it becomes undecane, right? So this is how you will get different types of products. So generally Sedgwick product will be the major product, right? Hofmann, that is the least substituted alkenes, that is Hofmann is minor product. And remember, in some situations there is possibility for Hofmann product. So let me check that conditions also, right? So when you take any dehydrohalogenation reactions, in any dehydrohalogenation reactions, of course, whether it is E1 elimination or E2 elimination, we don't care, right? That's what we are doing. First we are removing halogen and then we are removing H plus, right? Or we are obstructing hydrogen followed by the removal of halogen. So some HX is lost, right? That's what the examples we have taken. Here we can take different reagents, such as tertiary butoxide, in presence of tertiary butyl alcohol, or we can use sodium amide, which is a strong base, or we can use alcoholic KOH, or ethoxide in presence of ethyl alcohol followed by heating, etc. etc. Such reagents are used. Here generally Sedgwick product is major product, so such reagents may lead to Sedgwick product as well as Hoffman product. Generally Sedgwick product is major product, Hoffman product is minor, right? So big reason is Sedgwick product is, why Sedgwick product is major product means because more stable alkene is formed. More stable alkene is formed, or more number of hyperconjugations, or simply we say call it as more substituted alkene is formed. So that's why we call this as Sedgwick product. So Hoffman product means less stable alkene. Less stable alkene means less number of hyperconjugations or less substituted alkene. Less substituted alkene. So less number of hyperconjugations or less stable alkene. Right? Less stable alkene. Right? This is what generally forms. But remember, generally Sedgwick product is obtained, but in certain cases Hoffman product is major in few cases. So let me check in which cases Hoffman product is stable. That means the conditions favorable for Hoffman product. So we are going to see about conditions favorable for Hoffman product. Conditions favorable for Hoffman product. Right. So very important condition is leaving group must be poor leaving. So leaving group is not willing to go. That means among halogens fluorine must be there, right? So condition 1, right? Poor leaving group. So whenever we can see a poor leaving group, so it will generally leads to formation of Hoffman product. Condition 2, if the base is bulky, when the base is bulky, it always approach less hindered carbon. And another condition, so generally it occur in case of quaternary ammonium salts, right? So we have to take any secondary alkyl halide having with gamma carbon is having a quaternary system. Gamma carbon is a quaternary system, or it may be having a bulky leaving group. If the leaving group is bulky, such as R tertiary quaternary ammonium salt, or SR2 plus, any such system, etc. Right? Whenever there is a bulky leaving group, that leads to formation of Hoffman product. Right? Now let me check that with certain example. Let me see few examples regarding that. So let me take an example. So if I have taken fluorine here, fluorine is a poor leaving group. So if I have taken alcoholic KOH, of course on heating, Instead of fluorine, if I have taken chlorine or bromine, etc., in such cases, directly, as they are good leaving groups, they prefer SN2 mechanism, leading to formation of alkene. But whenever fluorine is present, in such cases, neither SN1 nor SN2 is preferred. In such cases, we have to go for even CV type mechanism. That means first a carbanion is formed. That carbanion, that anion will be shifting here, making fluorine to leave. That means, let me explain that. If I have taken either chlorine or bromine or iodine, right, they are good leaving groups, they are better leaving groups, they are better leaving groups. So no need of carbanion, right? So therefore carbanion is not found. But in case of fluorine, as fluorine is not willing to leave, right, there is necessary for formation of carbanion. Now here first base will abstract this acidic hydrogen, forming a negative charge. Then among carbanions, primary carbanions are more stable. Therefore, instead of getting negative charge over this carbon, instead of getting negative charge over this carbon, you will get negative charge over this carbon. So because this carbanion is more stable, right? So it preferably form negative charge over this carbon because you are getting more stable carbanion. So here the major product is after getting negative charge here, that negative charge got shifted here and fluorine is lost. So you will get Hoffman product as major product. This is major product and Sedgwick product is minor. So in case of poor leaving groups, they prefer even CB mechanism. So that leads to Hoffman product as the major product. Let me take another example. Let me go for another example. Fluorine. Right. Now, if it is allowed to react with alcoholic KOH on heating. Now, here also, first base will approach hydrogen, you will get a abstract hydrogen, you will get negative charge here, or you may get negative charge here. Now we know that primary carbanions are more stable, but due to presence of benzene ring, the carbanion obtained on benzylic carbon, this becomes more stable. This is more stable carbanion. So as this is more stable carbanion, in such cases, the major product will be similar to that of Sedgwick product, right? This is the major product because of more stable carbanion. So whenever there is a poor leaving group, carbanion is formed. More stable the carbanion, more readily the reaction occur. Generally, primary carbanions are more stable, so you will get double bonds at the terminal positions. But whenever carbanion is stable at some other position, so for example in this case, now we are getting Sedgwick type product, right? So you must be careful where the carbanion obtained is more stable. Let me go for another example. We have taken a good leaving group, right? If I take alcoholic KOH, right? Now as it is a good leaving group, base will approach the hydrogen, bond will shift and Br goes out. Everything occurs in the same step. So now you will get Sedgwick product as major product. Instead of that, if I have taken a bulky base, such as tertiary butoxide. I have taken a tertiary butoxide in presence of tertiary butyl alcohol, right? Now as the base is bulky, it prefers a less hindered position. So it go and abstract hydrogen from less hindered carbon. So here the major product is half-band product. So this is major product here, half-band product. Here Sedgwick product is a major product. That means whenever there is a bulky base. Now we have seen another condition, that is gamma position must be bulky. So when we have taken, let me go for another example. So another example. So if I take gamma position is bulky, right? So this is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma. Gamma position is quaternary, right? Now if you take base, whether you have taken bulky base or a normal base. So if the gamma position is bulky, even this OH minus or base which is approaching secondary hydrogen, that also now experience steric hindrance. Now here the major product will be, because of this bulky position, bulky group at gamma position, here we preferably get half-band product as major, right? So when gamma position is bulky, or if there is a poor leaving group, or when base is bulky, either base is bulky or gamma position is quaternary system or a poor leaving group is present, then in all such cases half-band product is major product. Let me take one more example regarding we have taken fourth condition. The leaving group must be either quaternary ammonium salt or salts like SR2 plus in such cases. So let me take such example. So let me take a quaternary system, a quaternary ammonium salt, right? This is the leaving group. Now if it is allowed to react with OH minus on heating, here of course high temperature is required, 100 to 200 degrees centigrade temperature is available. Now here what happen, base will approach, if I consider this as alpha, then this will be beta. So base approaches hydrogen from beta position, right? So then that bond got shifted here and making this group to leave. So what it will be is, we have hydrogens here, hydrogen, 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 right? Now this base approaches and removes this hydrogen, making this bond to shift here, and that ammonium system leaves that place, lead to product formation. Now here the product obtained is ethene, CH2 double bond CH2, and we'll get a tertiary. So this is nothing but similar to that of Hoffman's exhaust 2 methylation reactions. Let me give that case also. Let me study about Hoffman's exhaust 2 methylation. Hoffman's exhaust 2 methylation of amines. Right. Here we have to use mild bases such as aqueous Na2CO3, aqueous K2CO3, etc. Such mild bases, or we can use Ag2O, right? So generally first step we need to use excess of methyl iodide. Excess of methyl iodide is used in presence of mild base. Of course this is a reversible step. And the second step is addition of moist silver oxide, and the third step is heating. So these three things should be taken care. Now let me explain this with an example. If I have taken a secondary amine in this way, a cyclic system with having secondary, when this is allowed to react with methyl iodide excess in quantity, so excess of methyl iodide, and Na2CO3 aqueous. I had already discussed this is a reversible reaction. So this lead to, as nitrogen is having lone pair, nitrogen donate lone pair of electrons to carbon, and iodine is replaced in SN2 pathway. Alright. So in SN2 pathway, this lead to formation of quaternary ammonium salt in SN2 pathway. So you will get a positive charge on nitrogen. Of course, I minus is balancing the system. Now here when we use moist silver oxide, so that means weak base, right? Ag2O moist, or we can use AgOH, whatever it may be, right? When we use it, first this I minus is replaced by OH minus, so this lead to some intermediate. That intermediate may be, you may get positive charge here, which is balanced by OH minus, and that Ag plus take I minus to form AgI, which got precipitated, right? And so this is the intermediate generated. So this generated intermediate on heating, this one on heating, now elimination will start, right? Now this base will abstract, this is alpha, this is beta, so this base will abstract beta hydrogen, then that bond got shifted here and this amine system goes out. So here the product obtained will be nitrogen bond, nitrogen got its lone pair back, and you will get a double bond system here, right? You will get an alkane. Now again the reaction will proceed. So again methyl iodide excess quantity in presence of Na2CO3 and Ag2O moist, everything is repeated. Now again Hofmann's exhaust to methylation reaction occur. Now abstraction of hydrogen from this is beta position, this is alpha, this is beta, so then there will be double bond formation and this amine group will leave. Now you will get an alkane. The obtained alkane is one double bond inside this cyclohexane system and a terminal, and this amine system has left the position, so you will get a tertiary amine. Of course this again combines with the methyl iodide to form quaternary amine, right? So as long as there is availability of beta hydrogens, the elimination keep on repeating, Hofmann's exhaust to methylation keep on occurring, as long as a quaternary ammonium salt is possible in the system. Once it is left that system, that means there are no beta hydrogens available for quaternary system, then reaction will stop, right? So that's how Hofmann products will be the major product, right? So generally ZF product is formed, whether it is E1 elimination or E2 elimination, ZF product is the major product, right? Only in a few cases Hofmann product becomes major, particularly in case this is observed in case of SN2, right? In SN2 pathway there is possibility for Hofmann product when few conditions are obeyed. One, there must be a poor leaving group. Whenever there is a poor leaving group, first carbanion is formed. That carbanion is responsible for formation of alkene. So whenever there is a poor leaving group, there is possibility for carbanion formation, right? Because of that carbanion formation, you will get Hofmann product as major product. Now condition 2, if the base is bulky, Condition 3, when a gamma carbon is present, which is quaternary, and if the leaving group is bulky. So in such cases, there is possibility for Hofmann product. So we have seen Hofmann exhaustive methylation also. Now, this is about E1 mechanism, E2 mechanism. Both are beta eliminations. E1 and E2 both are beta elimination because the leaving group is lost from a carbon, alpha carbon, and hydrogen is lost from beta carbon. So we call it as 1,2 elimination or beta elimination. Right? Now coming to E1CB. E1CB. So this is unimolecular elimination unimolecular but through conjugate base, unimolecular conjugate base mechanism, right. Now here for E1 mechanism there must be a good leaving group and neutral bases are required, followed by heating. For E1 mechanism, good leaving group and there must be a neutral base on heating, right? So formation of carbocation rearrangement is possible. This is about E1. Coming to E2. In case of E2, we require strong base because base has to abstract hydrogen first. Abstraction of hydrogen and leaving group should leave in the same step. So it is a concerted mechanism. Now, in case of E1, hydrogen must be more acidic, right? So in E1 mechanism, there must be more acidic hydrogen, maybe beta hydrogen, more acidic beta hydrogen, right? This is condition, right? That is, the beta carbon must be attached to a strong minus M group or good withdrawing group. So beta carbon is attached to a strong withdrawing group, or we call it as minus M group or minus I group. So strong withdrawing group. Then there is possibility for elimination reaction through conjugate base mechanism, right? So for example, let me take an example here. So if I have taken PH, S double bond O, so it is a good minus M group. This must be beta, this is beta carbon, so there must be another carbon CH2 and there must be a leaving group, right? So this is a leaving group. Y is a good leaving group. So it should not be a good leaving group. If it is a good leaving group, it leads to formation of carbocation. So Y must be a poor leaving group. So Y must be a poor leaving group. And also this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. On beta carbon there must be a good electron withdrawing group. So electron withdrawing group. Now in such cases, base will approach this hydrogen and abstract this hydrogen, making this bond to shift here and the leaving group leave, right? So here the hydrogen must be more acidic hydrogen. It must be more acidic hydrogen. Then it leads to E1CB mechanism, right? Here the leaving group must be a poor leaving group, such as phenyl system, or maybe a phenoxide system, or a thiophenyl system, or there must be a SO2 group like what we have taken here, or you may have a SO group, or it should be a methoxy system, or it may be a cyanide system, right, etc. So such leaving groups should be there. Now here rate of reaction. Here rate of reaction follow second order kinetics, because rate of reaction depends upon substrate, because conditions should be followed in such substrate. There must be a poor leaving group and a good electron withdrawing group on beta position, right? More acidic hydrogen, and also a good base, right? More acidic hydrogen must be there, and there must be a good base, right? Here order of reaction is second order, right? But molecularity is 1, right? Molecularity is 1. Follow second order kinetics, but molecularity of the reaction is only 1. Let me take an example. So if I have taken CF3 CHCl2, now see here, because of withdrawing groups, here 2 chlorines are there and next carbon possesses CF3, right? Therefore this hydrogen is more acidic hydrogen. So more acidic hydrogen is present and poor leaving groups are present. Fluorine is a poor leaving group, so alcoholic KOH. See here, this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. On beta carbon, this is beta carbon. On beta carbon, more acidic hydrogen is there, right? And there is a poor leaving group at alpha position, right? So when you have taken alcoholic KOH on heating, now what happened? First, this base will abstract acidic hydrogen. After losing the acidic hydrogen, it forms CF3C minus Cl2, right? So this is the carbanion intermediate. This is the carbanion intermediate. Right. After getting that, so this has to shift here and fluorine has to leave. So this lead to formation of CF2 double bond CCl. So this is the product obtained, right? This is how E1CB mechanism occurs. Now if I take another case, pH CH2 CH2F, right? Now here this is alpha carbon and this is beta carbon. Now there is a withdrawing group, phenyl is a minus I group, so therefore the acidic nature of that hydrogen is more, right? So when you take ethoxide, that means a good base, when you take a good base, so this base abstract this hydrogen forming pH and a negative charge here, fluorine, right? After getting that, if we use already we discussed that whether primary isotopic effect or secondary isotopic effect, whatever it is present here, it is a solvent isotopic effect. In case of E1CB, there is solvent isotopic effect, means whatever the solvent I have taken, if I have taken DTO as a solvent, right? So when I take a DTO as a solvent or ETOD, in such cases, if I take DTO as a solvent, then this deuterium is replaced here, leading to formation of deuterium. This is the product obtained, right? Now again this base abstract the second hydrogen. When it abstracts the second hydrogen, it leads to formation of phenyl. Both hydrogens are replaced by deuterium, right? Okay. Now after that, so when the second hydrogen is abstracted, it leads to formation of anion here. That also abstract the second hydrogen and it goes on, right? So finally anyhow that is removed and bond is shifted and fluorine is lost, right? So here we need to understand this lead to formation of, that means here we are it is following solvent isotopic effect, not primary or secondary, it is solvent isotopic effect. So if a solvent is labeled, that got exchanged with the carbanion system, so be careful about it, right? So let me explain with some other example. If I have taken a phenyl system, para-nitro condition, this is beta hydrogen CH2 and there is a poor leaving group, right? So there is a good withdrawing group, para-nitro system, good minus M, NO2 is a good minus M group. So a withdrawing group at beta carbon, and therefore this hydrogen is acidic hydrogen. So when we use a good base, now what happens? So it leads to product formation, that is para-nitro, H plus is abstracted, bond got shifted and fluorine is lost, right? So you will get a double bond formation here, right? Now instead of taking this, if I have taken a solvent, that's what we told, solvent isotopic effect is observed. So I have taken same base, but I am changing the solvent, isotopically labeled solvent. If I have taken this solvent, now what happened? First, you will, this H plus is abstracted, then you will get a negative charge. That negative charge system is replaced with a deuterium. That's what we have seen. Once you got a negative charge, deuterium from the solvent is abstracted to form CD here, right? So you will get deuterium. Then the second hydrogen is abstracted. So the product will be in first step there is carbanion, but that carbanion first exchanges hydrogen with deuterium, then the second hydrogen is abstracted to get carbanion. Now you will get this as the product. If I consider this as a rate of reaction, here rate of reaction is equal to R1, here rate of reaction equal to R2, right? Where rate of reaction is high, R1 is greater than R2. That means when solvent is isotopically labeled, rate of reaction decreases. Therefore, we call it as solvent isotopic effect, right? And of course, these reactions are reversible reactions, right? So, reactions in which forward as well as backward, that means reversible, forward and backward reversible reaction takes place by same mechanism, then we got it as a microscopic reversibility by same mechanism, then it is called microscopic reversibility. So that what it is observed here, microscopic reversibility is observed in case of E1CB. Right. Now, if you see such conditions, even E2 and so on, E1CB in cyclic systems, right? So anti-periplanar condition, here also anti-periplanar condition must be there because carbanion is formed, that bond is shifted and the leaving group is lost. So here also there is a anti-periplanar condition here also, because negative charge is obtained here, that got shifted here and Y is lost, right? So here also there is anti-periplanar condition, no need to write that. All right, based upon the size of ring, anti-periplanar condition also leads to product formation, right? In some cases, such anti-periplanar conditions are not possible. So in such cases, you will get a syn product based upon the ring size. For example, if it is a cyclobutyl ring, percentage of syn system is approximately 90%. If a size of ring increases to 5 membered, 46%. If it is cyclohexyl, in cyclohexyl definitely anti-periplerar condition is obtained. Therefore, percentage syn will be left. You will get anti-addition, anti-products, right? So if it is a 7-membered ring, again 37% will be syn and so on. So mostly trans products anti-elimination is occurred in case of 6-membered ring. So whatever it may be. So we are bothered about E1, E2 and E1CB. In E1 there is carbocation formation, carbocation rearrangement is possible, neutral bases are required, right? And there must be a good leaving group. In E2 mechanism, very strong base, we don't care about the leaving group ability, because basic character of the base must be very high. It should attack on the hydrogen, or it abstract beta hydrogen more readily than the leaving group, right? So it has to abstract hydrogen, and leaving group has to leave in the same step, concerted step. So that is E2 mechanism. In E1CB, on beta carbon, in addition to beta hydrogen, there must be a good electron withdrawing group, which makes the beta hydrogen more acidic, and also there must be a poor leaving group. So when there is a poor leaving group and more acidic hydrogen, it prefer E1CB mechanism. When it is a very strong base, then it prefer E2 mechanism. When it is a neutral base and very good leaving group, then it prefer E1 mechanism, right? So they generally form Serge product. But in some conditions, Hoffman products are obtained. To produce Hoffman product, condition 1, leaving group must be poor leaving group must be there. Through carbanion mechanism, it leads to product formation. Condition 2, there must be a quaternary carbon at gamma position. Condition 3, bulky base must be bulky. Condition 4, leaving group must be bulky. So in such cases, Hoffman product is major product, right? Now coming to the next type, intramolecular elimination reactions. Next condition is intramolecular eliminations. Intramolecular elimination reactions, or we call it as EI. Intramolecular elimination reactions, or we call it as EI. We also call them as pyrolytic elimination reactions, or we also call them as thermal elimination reactions. Thermal elimination reactions, or we call them as pyrolytic elimination reactions. Thermal elimination reactions or pyrolytic elimination reactions. They follow first order kinetics. That means here rate of reaction is proportional to concentration of substrate. In case of E1 elimination, rate of reaction depends upon concentration of substrate, or stability of carbocation, or stability of leaving group, right? Whereas in E2 mechanism, rate of reaction depends upon substrate as well as nucleophile, or it is proportional to stability of transition state. Whereas E1CB also rate of reaction proportional to concentration of substrate and concentration of nucleophile, concentration of base. It is a bimolecular, and that means order of reaction is 2, but it is a unimolecular reaction. Now here E1CB, rate of reaction is proportional to concentration of substrate only. So mainly this E1, this EI mechanism is observed in pyrolysis of esters, particularly acetates, right? Or they are observed in pyrolysis of xanthates. That means xanthates on heating. We call that as Chugao reaction. So EI mechanism is observed in Chugao reaction, heating of xanthates. Next, another condition, Cope elimination reaction. That means heating of amino oxides. That is Cope elimination reactions. Right? EI mechanism is observed in Cope elimination reactions, Sugov reaction, pyrolysis of acetates, and so on. Right? Now let me observe that. Coming to first type, that is pyrolysis of esters. So we are discussing about EI mechanism in pyrolysis of esters, particularly acetates. Simply on heating. So there is no need of any base or anything, just on simple heating elimination occurs. That's why it is called thermal elimination reaction, pyrolytic elimination reaction. There is no need of any base. So just a substrate having esters or xanthates or amino acids. Just they simply on heating they lead to formation of alkenes. Right. So first if you see pyrolysis of acetates. So let me take an example. If I take CH3, CH2, again CH2, this may alpha, beta. So over this there must be an acetate, C double bond O CH, right? So this is alpha and this is beta, right? So this system on heating, Now observe what happened. This oxide donates lone pair of electron and tries to abstract this hydrogen, right? When this try to abstract hydrogen by donating lone pair, this H plus comes out. This makes this bond to shift here. That makes this bond to cleave, and therefore this bond got shifted here. And after donating lone pair, this oxygen gets positive charge. Therefore this bond got shifted here. Indirectly, this bond got shifted here, right? So this on heating leads to formation of this product. So you will get CH3, CH, double bond CH2 plus this converts into COH, double bond O CH3, right? This is the product obtained. Alright. Simple elimination. Acetic acid is eliminated from acetates, but there must be a beta hydrogen, right? So this lead to product formation. So let me take another example. So this is one example. Let me take another example. So just observe the condition. At beta position there must be hydrogen. So I am taking another case. CH O C double bond O CH3 and there is CH2 H and there is CH CH3. Now there are two beta systems. Now there is competition. So this is alpha carbon, this is beta hydrogen, this is beta hydrogen. Now which beta hydrogen is preferred? Right? So remember, always less hindered system is abstracted. So this on heating, here also this preferably abstract this hydrogen. This bond got shifted here, this bond got shifted here. So the major product is abstraction of less hindered system. So the product is CH3 CH2 CH double bond CH2. This is major product. Of course some cost of minor product is also obtained. The minor product obtained will is abstraction of this hydrogen. So you will get CH3 CH double bond CH CH3. So Sedgwick product, this is minor product, right? Now if it is a cyclic system, in cyclic system how it occurs? Remember, in case of cyclic systems, if the leaving group is equatorial, there is a possibility for two products. There is possibility for two products. Let me take an example. So I have taken a methyl group here, hydrogen at equatorial position. This is methyl group CH3, and this is the leaving group, acetyl group. So this is at equatorial position, hydrogen at axial position. Now this is alpha, this is alpha, this is beta. Of course this is also beta. So at beta there are hydrogens. One hydrogen is at axial position and another hydrogen at equatorial position. Here this is the hydrogen at equatorial position, right? Now here there will be abstraction of beta hydrogen from this position as well as this position. Both has equal possibility, right? Because here this hydrogen is on same side, here this hydrogen equatorial position, that is also on same side. So here this lead to two types of products. One is when the double bond is formed by abstracting this first hydrogen, this hydrogen, right? This is the methyl group, and there is the possibility for second one, that is abstraction of hydrogen from here. So you may get double bond at this position. So both have equal possibility. That means this is approximately 50%. This is also approximately 50% because both have nearly same probability, right? If this methyl group is at equatorial, hydrogen is at axial, then that leads to only one product formation, right? So you must be careful. So this is about regarding heating of acetates. Now if we take Chugov reaction, that means heating of xanthates. So if we go for heating of xanthates, heating of xanthates, right? So first if you take Chugov reaction, let me see what is Chugov reaction, then we will discuss how reaction occurs. I have taken an example, oxygen, C double bond S, again S, ethyl on heating. Now in this case there are hydrogens at different positions, right? So in this particular case the beta hydrogen which is at oxygen, beta hydrogen which is at oxygen, that is more acidic than beta hydrogen which is at sulfur, than beta hydrogen which is at sulfur, right? So as that is more acidic, abstraction of hydrogen will take place at that position. So you will get CH2 double bond CH2, that alkene formation at that position. If it is happened here, then what happened? This bond got shifted here. So you will get C double bond S and a double bond O, and remaining one CH3 CH2 SH. So this is Chugov reaction. Now let me see how this reaction occurs with some mechanism. Now how these xanthates are formed. So how xanthates are formed? First let me see preparation of xanthates. from particularly alcohols. So if you take any alcohol, if it is allowed to react with the carbon disulfide, which is used as a solvent, CS2, then this oxygen donate lone pair of electrons, making this bond shifted towards one direction. So if you take any organometallic compounds of lithium, then R minus will attack. So this lead to product formation. The obtained product is R O, that H plus is abstracted by R minus. This R minus, this R minus will abstract that acidic hydrogen. This abstract this H plus, so forming ROC double bond S, and this becomes S minus and Li plus. Of course, RH is gone out. Right. Now, this again allowed to react with methyl iodide. So this one on reaction with methyl iodide. So with methyl iodide, what happens? This S minus will donate lone pair of electrons, and this I minus gone out. So this lead to product formation. The product obtained is R O C double bond S ES some other alkyl group, sorry, CH3. This is the xanthate obtained. Now how reaction occurs, right? Remember, there must be a beta hydrogen. Of course, here towards this S there is no beta hydrogen, so definitely this R group should possess beta hydrogen. Let me see with an example. If I have taken CH3, this must be beta hydrogen, CH2 O carbon double bond S CH3, right? So this system. Now, similar to that of acetates, this bond got shifted here, this bond got shifted here, and this bond got shifted here. Now this one on heating lead to product formation. The obtained product is CH3 CH double bond CH2 plus you will got C single bond SH double bond O S CH3. Now this will again rearrange. So this bond got shifted here and this bond got shifted here. So this lead to product formation. The obtained product will be CO S plus CH3 SH. That's how alkenes are obtained. So this is the alkene obtained. CH3 CH double bond CH2. This is what obtained through EI mechanism, intramolecular elimination, just by heating. That's why it is called as thermal elimination reaction, right? So let me give one more case. If I have taken ethyl alcohol CH3 CH2OH, this is ethyl alcohol. So this is the beta system, beta hydrogens. Now when this is allowed to react with RLi, that means R plus Li plus, in presence of sodium hydride Na plus H minus, carbon disulfide, methyl iodide, right? Now the product obtained is CH3 CH2. That oxygen is connected to carbon, which is having from the solvent, so double bond S, remaining thing, remaining that S is there, and methyl iodide CH3. So if it is ethyl iodide, you will get C2H5, here C2H5, right? So this is the xanthate obtained. This xanthates on heating, this on heating. So you have beta hydrogen here. So you will get ethene CH2 double bond CH2, and remaining is C double bond S, and this is double bond O, and CH3 SH. So this is how the product obtained. right? This is about heating of xanthates. Now the third type, heating of amino oxides. Preparation of alkenes by EI mechanism through heating of amino oxides. Right. So here particularly we need to form quaternary ammonium system. Right. So first to form such thing, a quaternary ammonium salt, first we need to take a tertiary amine. So only tertiary amines are preferred. So only tertiary amine, right? So I have taken R3N, tertiary amine. When this is allowed to react with any peracid system, so H2O2, R, R2O3, R, CH3, CO, OOH, peracid, any peracid. So in such cases you will got amino oxide. So that is R3N plus O minus. This is the amino oxide obtained, right? So similar to that of Cope elimination, Chugov reaction, pyrolysis of xanthates, pyrolysis of acetates, all occurred in the same way, syn elimination. That means eliminating product as well as hydrogen transfer happened in the same direction. Hydrogen and the leaving group both have left from the same direction. So this is also syn elimination system. Here also it is syn elimination, right? Or we call it as intramolecular syn elimination. So this also occur within the system, intramolecular syn elimination, right? So and we have to take hydroxyl amine. Now how the reaction occur? So let me see this. There must be a beta hydrogen. So let me take that CH2, CH3. So let me take it as CH2H. This is the amino oxide having other alkyl groups R without beta hydrogen. So let me take it as CH3, CH3. Now there is no beta hydrogen here, right? CH3, CH3, and this is O minus. Now this O minus try to abstract this hydrogen. This tries to abstract this hydrogen. Then this bond got shifted here. Then this bond got shifted over nitrogen. So this occur on heating. Now this lead to product formation. Here the product obtained will be now CH2 double bond CH2. You will get an alkene. Plus this bond got shifted here. Therefore that positive charge vanished. So nitrogen will get lone pair now. Methyl, and over oxygen you will get hydrogen. So OH. So this is the product obtained, right? So in a transition state, that a transition state is a planar 5-membered ring. Right. So let me take another example. If I have taken this is the ammonium salt, ethyl having beta hydrogens oxide, right? So here it is hydrogen on same direction, right? So syn elimination, so hydrogen must be on the same direction. Now what happened? This is methyl group, this is methyl group, right? Now this one on heating, again this oxygen abstract this hydrogen, this bond shifted here, this bond got shifted here. So mechanism occur in this way. This will approach this hydrogen, this bond got shifted here, right? And this bond got shifted over nitrogen. So this lead to product formation. So here the obtained product is a 6-membered ring with alkene. But remember, always less hindered beta hydrogen is abstracted, because there are other beta hydrogens available. Here also, this is also beta hydrogen available. So here also beta hydrogen. So less hindered systems are available. So as less hindered systems are available, this oxygen abstract hydrogen from the less hindered system instead of this. So the product will be CH2 double bond CH2 because abstraction is from less hindered system. So remaining things as it is. So this total ring system remains as it is. This is having deuterium, nitrogen got its lone pair back, and one ethyl system is present, and this converted into OH. Now if it is again allowed to react with some base, first it is allowed to react with methyl iodide following a base. Again if you try to create that amino oxide, again another product is obtained. So always in all these conditions, less hindered system is giving beta hydrogen. Therefore always Hofmann product is the major product. Hofmann product is major. Right? A partial negative charge is developed over beta carbon because the reaction occurs through transition state. Right? That's how reactions occur. Right? So this is about E1, E2, E1CV and so on. Right? So let me stop today's discussion. This is about elimination reactions. We will continue with some problems and some examples in next lecture.